Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We begin with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessed name. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we glorify Allah as He ought to be praised and glorified. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send salam and salawat to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to his family, to his companions, to the tabi'een, tabi'een, to the ulama, awliya, shuhada, salihin, and to those whomever followed his path till the end of time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Tonight I have a very, very challenging task to sell you medicine in times where people are selling you sweets. Saya menghadapi kerja yang mencabar untuk berkongsi ataupun menjual obat dalam keadaan kita sekarang ini sedang sibuk digula-gulakan. Takut-takut diabetik nanti, ya, kena kecil manis. Kalau buka kedai, satu jual obat, satu jual gula-gula, ya, siapa yang akan menang? This is the challenges of sessions of knowledge. This is the challenges of sessions like this. Yeah? But sessions like this deals with the root problem. While we are busy with the branches, while we are busy with the ranting, there are those who are targeting the root of the tree of Islam. There are those people who are trying to uproot it, while we are busy debating, talking and fighting with regards to the branches. What is the meaning of victory? What is the meaning of economic power? What is even the meaning of a political power, having political power, if we lose our aqidah, if we lose our belief system? Because that is what defines us. That is the basis of our identity. We are not Malay first, but we are Muslim first. Our main identity is Islam. So, inshallah tonight, this will be the third part, the last session, on the topic of bringing back the Ghaib into our consciousness. Mengembalikan akidah kita berkenaan dengan alam Ghaib ataupun Al-Ghaib ke dalam pemikiran dan jiwa umat, insyaAllah. Inshallah tonight I will share with those of you who are here and also our listeners who will listen to this session on YouTube a couple of suggestions. How do we bring back the concept of Al-Ghaib into our belief system? Number one, we have to change our perception of science itself. We cannot and we will never be able to bring back the concept of Al-Ghaib or the belief in Al-Ghaib if our understanding of science is still immature. And when I say immature, I mean reducing science to only studying matter and physical things. So we have to break this definition dulu. Nak bawa keimanan kepada alam ghaib, kita kena kembali memahami konsep sains itu dengan betul dulu. Kalau kita percaya bahawa sains itu adalah satu ilmu yang mengkaji tentang perkara-perkara yang berjisim, berjasad, yang ada panjang, ada lebar dan ada dalamnya, maka kita tidak akan mampu untuk mengembalikan keimanan umat Islam kepada Al-Ghaib. Kerana kita akan kalah dengan sains versi barat. We will be defeated. We will be shamelessly defeated by the Western conception of science. Because many of us have already accommodated the worldview of the West in terms of their understanding of science. And how we do science as how they do science. So we have to break the conception of science from materialism dulu. Kita kena pisahkan sains daripada materialism dulu. Kalau tak boleh pisahkan, kita tak akan boleh. Kita akan kalah teruk. That's number one. So science is anything or any methodology that leads us to truth. Any effort to discover the truth from the phenomena, from the alam, from human beings, from the animal world, or even from the non-physical realities. Sains ni adalah sebuah ilmu yang sepatutnya diperluaskan, yang bukan hanya dihadkan untuk mengkaji perkara-perkara yang berbentuk fizikal, tetapi juga harus diluaskan skopnya untuk mengkaji juga apa sahaja yang boleh dikaji, apa sahaja yang boleh dibuktikan kebenaran dia, dan apa sahaja yang boleh di-falsify. Falsify ni maksudnya boleh dibuktikan kesalahannya. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we have to differentiate between facts and interpretation of facts. Kita kena membezakan antara fakta dengan penafsiran fakta itu sendiri. Contoh mudah begini. Dulu, before this, we heard that people say that our appendix, there is no apparent use for it. There is no benefit to the appendix. Betul, eh? I've heard this before, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe even 15, 20 years ago. And we hear doctors liberally saying, oh, no problem, just, remove the appendix. Yeah. We observe the same appendix. Whether you are Muslim, you are non-Muslim, the fact is the same. There is such thing called appendix. But people who believe in the evolution theory, evolutionists, they claim that there is no benefit to the appendix. That means it is a residual organ. Organ yang tidak ada manfaat. They say that this is the residue from the time that we were apes, or we were other animals. During that time, we may need appendix. But when we have become men, we do not need appendix anymore. So it becomes a residual organ. See how foolish it sounds. Yeah? But they call it science. This is how, and this is where we have to differentiate between facts and interpretation of facts. The facts are the same, but the interpretation are totally different. Just recently they found out that appendix have benefit actually. It is there to store good bacteria. See the arrogance of man. Just because you do not know something, do not jump to the conclusion by saying there's no benefit to it. There's no hikmah, there's no wisdom. This is the mistakes that we keep falling into, the traps that we keep creating for ourselves and we keep falling into. And we as Muslims, when we observe the same fact, do we arrive to the same conclusion? Kita memerhatikan fakta yang sama, tapi adakah penafsiran kita akhirnya sama juga? Do we say what they say? Do we say that, oh, dalam tubuh manusia ni ada organ yang tidak ada faedah? That's an insult to Allah. When we call him Al-Hakim, the yang maha bijaksana, how can we say that he created something that has no benefit in the human body? Kan? Worse to say that there is a residual organ. Yeah. Another thing, they say your pubic hair, sorry to say, kita punya bulu dekat ketiak kita dan minta maaf dekat organ kelamin kita. They say, oh, because before this we were apes. So these are the residues of the hairs on the apes. So they're saying that there's no benefit to this. Until today, I do not know the benefit yet, but I believe there is a benefit to it. This is the biggest difference between us and them. You see, the difference between facts and interpretation of facts. Every day today, we are being shown facts and also interpretation of facts. And we confuse ourselves. A simple example. During the Syrian crisis, nearly every day we see pictures of bombings. Children coming out in front of camera and saying, these people who are on top of us, they are oppressing us, they are killing us. And everyone believed. No one stopped and asked a question, how did this little girl know? Did the little girl actually saw the bomb? What is written on the bomb? Who threw the bomb? No sentiments. Oh, it's a very young girl. and she's in pain. Astaghfirullah. Whoever is doing this is shaitan. Yeah, we are overcome by emotions already. No one stopped and think, actually, who is the culprit here? Is it true that the culprit that people accuse, is it true that he is the person or she is the person doing it? Or there's a third party or mercenaries who is there to blame the third party, who is there to blame a black sheep. Yeah. So the difference between facts and interpretation of facts. If we are not careful, we will fall. We will be lied to every single time. Okay? Because this is important. When you do science, you need to know that what you read from books of sciences, or books of science, it is not necessarily science. Many or much of it are interpretation of scientists. We observe trees and they also observe trees, but when they look at the tree, they say the world has no creator. But when you look at a tree, we say this is a proof that this world has a creator. You see, the fact is the same. The fact is there is a tree in front of us, but the interpretation of fact is different. So this is what we have to be very careful of. So when the West say there is no God, why? Because to them the fact is we have never seen God, we have never seen hellfire, we have never seen paradise, therefore there is no God, there is no paradise, there is no angels, there is no jinn. That's foolishness. That is an interpretation of fact. It has nothing to do with the facts, you see. But many people fall into this trap of taking interpretation of facts as facts. Okay, penafsiran fakta bukan fakta. Now, how do we learn the art of separating between facts and interpretation of facts? This is my another suggestion. We need to revive philosophy in our land, Southeast Asia. Start. What do we need from philosophy? We don't need anything from philosophy. We have Quran and Sunnah, isn't it? We have Quran and Sunnah. This is the arrogance of Muslims. This is the arrogance of Muslims. Why do we need philosophy? Why do we need science if we have the Quran and Sunnah already? It is not necessarily for us to use it to understand the Quran and Sunnah. No. It is more to a weapon for us to defend ourselves, our belief system, from the onslaught that came from the Western civilization. Because their tool, their weapon of attack begins with philosophy. You do not think that they begin to attack us with economy or politics. That comes later. That comes far later. It begins with philosophy. It begins with thought process. It begins by shaking our belief system. That's where they started. And they use, what did they use? They use philosophy. Of course, they did not use religion. They use conceptions. They use ideas. Ideas such as many things. The human rights, humanism, for example. What else? Philosophical secularism, liberalism. These are all ideas. Ideas that you cannot see, that you cannot touch. But the effects are more devastating than the effect of bombs, than the effects of an economic crisis. But how many of us who wants to take heed? How many of us who looks at this matter seriously? Not many, seriously. Wherever I go, not many people are concerned about this subject matter. But this is the root of our tree, the tree of Islam. You don't have the root, you don't have anything. Even if you are rich, even if you are powerful, you are nothing. You are nothing, even if you are rich, even if you are powerful. So this must be taken care of. This must be protected. So we need to revive philosophy. Before this, in the Muslim world, we have philosophy. In the Malay Muslim world, ada. Tapi masjid mana sekarang yang ajar falsafah? Masjid mana sekarang yang ajar liberalism tu apa? Masjid mana yang ajar kita secularism ni sejarah dia apa? Kenapa Barat berfikir seperti itu? Kenapa Barat menulis Human Rights Charter? Apa jadi di negara Barat sehingga mereka menulis the Human Rights Charter, the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights, of Human Rights? Kita ada versi kita sendiri ataupun tidak? Kita ada pada tahun 1993, in the year 1993. The scholars of Al-Azhar and the scholars around the world convened in Egypt They came up with the Cairo Declaration of Islamic Human Rights. It may not sound quite nice, but when I've read the article, alhamdulillah, it is in line with our belief system. It does not begin with everyone has the right to believe in whatever they believe. It begins with everyone has the right to worship God. Subhanallah. That is our first right. That is the right of every human being, is to worship the one true God. Right? But which mosque in this land spoke about such subjects? We have to. Okay? They are pulling the carpets under our feet. Ni carpet yang kita berdiri di atasnya. And if we cannot revive philosophy unless we revive logic also. Ilmu logik dalam bahasa Arab apa dipanggil? Ilmu bagi-bagi harta dalam Islam apa dipanggil? Semua orang tahu. Ilmu faraid, nampak? Semua orang tahu. Ilmu tentang kepercayaan kepada Tuhan, ilmu tauhid, ilmu akidah. Ilmu macam nak angkat wuduk, semua orang tahu, ilmu fiqh. Tapi ilmu nak berfikir, kenapa tidak diajar? Kenapa hanya diajar di universiti dan di sekolah? Bukankah discourses di masjid harus lebih tinggi daripada discourse dekat universiti? I know, when I speak such subjects, people say, Ustaz, ni topik tak sesuai lah untuk masjid. Ni topik sesuai untuk universiti. I take that as an insult. You know why? Because you are putting the mosque lower from the universities. What do you think the mosque is? You think the mosque is just a place where people who are retired coming to rest? No. The mosque is where we build our strength. The mosque is where we build our power. The mosque is where we make da'wah. The mosque is where young people come and feel proud of Islam. You see? Betul tak? Apa ilmu logik dalam bahasa Arab? Nah, ini bukti yang kita dah lama tak belajar ilmu ni. Imam Al-Ghazali kata, siapa yang tak ada ilmu mantik, dah tersebut dah, ilmu mantik. Siapa yang tak belajar ilmu mantik, ilmunya tidak boleh dipercayai. La yuthaqu bi'ilmihi. Man lam yata'allamul mantiq, la yuthaqu bi'ilmihi. Siapa yang tak belajar mantik, ilmu dia tidak boleh dipercayai. Kenapa? Why can't you trust someone who have no ability to state his argument logically? Of course you cannot trust such a person. Orang yang tidak boleh berhujah secara teratur, macam mana kita nak percaya dia? Dia tidak boleh berhujah, dia tidak boleh bercakap dengan betul, dia tidak boleh mengatur fikiran dia dengan betul. Macam nak percaya ilmu yang dia ada? So before you go into knowledge, you have to look at the knowledge punya vessel, which is us, which is methodology of thought. Macam mana nak fikir dengan betul? This is the methodology of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. For quite some time this has been absent. We jump straight to the Quran and Hadith with the wrong way of thinking. What is the problem with ISIS? ISIS is a bunch of young people who read the Quran and Hadith. What is their problem then? Their problem is here, not the Quran and Hadith. So here, this must be straightened. If this is not straight, whatever you read will be crooked. Betul tak? Ini kalau sengit, semua benda kita baca jadi sengit. That is why we have to begin with the vessel first. Kita kantung ilmu. Kantung ilmu kalau kotor, masukkan air bersih itu juga jadi kotor. Betul? So we have to revive philosophy. Kita kena belajar. Cuba hantar anak-anak, cari mana-mana boleh philosophy for children. Filosofi ni, anak-anak kalau belajar falsafah, they will ask good questions. They will ask questions like, what is justice? Engkau? Siapa yang tanya soalan tu? Keadilan tu apa, ayah? Apa beza keadilan dengan kesamarataan? They will ask this kind of questions. Questions that we need to ask. Adakah kesamarataan itu adil? Bila kita samakan equality, does equality equal to justice? Of course, it's not. Tidak betul. Dia akan tanya soalan, kebebasan itu apa sebenarnya? What do we mean when we say we are free? Is it just because we are not a slave? There's no shackle, there's no chains on our hands, that means we are free, we are not slaves, but we are shackles of debt. Kan Haji Abdul kan? We are shackled by debt. Are we not enslaved too? And who is the slave master then? And why are we enslaved? What right do they have to enslave us? And when did we enter into the contract of slavery? When do we sign the contract? These kind of questions they will ask. Then you will see the emergence of real intelligent Muslims who, wherever you put them in this world, inshallah, they can contribute. Today we have too many technocrats. We have too many politicians and economists. Where are our thinkers? Where are our think tanks? Where are our philosophers? The same question I asked in the past sessions. And I feel no shame repeating it again and again. Okay. No, because modern day science, why I speak like this? Why do we need philosophy and logic? But of course, philosophy and logic, that is in line with the Quran and Sunnah. I'm not talking about we have to bring back Greek philosophy or Persian philosophy. No. We already have a form of philosophy that has been cleansed by our scholars. A form of logic that has been purified by our ulama. Why is this important? If you refer to the book of Shaykh al-Islam Mustafa Sabri, he is the Shaykh al-Islam of the Ottoman Empire, the last Shaykh al-Islam. He wrote a very important book, 4-volume book, Mawqif al-Aql. In this book he says that the West has become extreme in their reliance upon senses. Barat ni dah jadi melampau dalam kebergantungan mereka kepada panca indera, sehingga mereka hanya percaya apa yang boleh dilihat, dicium, dipegang, dibau, didengar, itu saja. And they neglected the role of the akal. Not many people realize this. People thought the West puts the akal high. Syekh Mustafa Sabri say no. The problem of the West is that they put the mind and science as enemies to each other, fighting with each other. Science and the mind. This is science, observable by your 5 senses. This is mind, logic, philosophy. So Syekh Mustafa Sabri say, we need to reunite this back. Science tak boleh hidup tanpa logic dan filosofi. Sama juga, you baca Quran, otak tak straight, Quran jadi sengit. Sama juga, you baca alam, you baca pokok, you baca burung, you baca matahari, you baca langit, otak you tak straight, sama juga. Alam akan jadi sengit pada pandangan you. It's the same. Okay? So in the end of the day, we have to begin with the knower. Okay? The person who knows first. Kita kena mula dengan tu. Baik. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. My last point. We cannot pass the burden of researching into the matters of Ghaib to the West. Ironically, surprisingly, the people who are very enthusiastic to research on the Ghaib are people who come from the West. This is malulah juga bila kita dengar benda ni. Some people may reply and say, Ustaz, we don't need to do research scientifically about Ghaib because we already believe in the Ghaib. I say these are empty talks. Coffee shop talks. It means nothing. Because if you stand in front a 20-year-old teenager who just graduated from Oxford, from the Faculty of Philosophy, can you defend in front of him that there is such thing as the Ghaib? You can't. This is just empty talks. When we say, oh, we don't need all this, we have Iman. These are all empty Imans. Hollow Imans, it means nothing. We need to substantiate what we say. So now they are doing the research. If you say we don't need to prove anything, then don't prove the existence of God. Betul tak? Tak payah bukti pun kewujudan Tuhan. Semua percaya pada iman saja. Whereas the Quran give us evidences for the existence of God. That means we need to go to evidences because people want to see evidence. And it's not wrong to ask for evidence. Tidak salah minta bukti. Yang salah adalah malas untuk kasih bukti. Lepas tu mengaku tak perlu bukti. Ini malas. Okay? Jadi Barat sekarang ni sedang buat kajian. Awak tahu tak kajian-kajian apa mereka tengah buat sekarang ni? Saya nak kongsi pada malam ini sedikit. Seorang Profesor Gary Schwartz daripada University of Arizona. Saya dah cerita belum pasal ni? Soul phone. Ada? Tak ada. Dia sekarang ni tengah giat. He is now busy with his project called the Soul phone. What is the Soul phone? SOUL. Phone, soul phone, bukan cell phone. Yes, where he claimed that with this technology you can actually contact your deceased forefathers. You boleh contact mak, ayah, tok, nenek you yang telah meninggal dunia. Now, you may say, merepek apa cerita ni? Sabar dulu. This person was a lecturer in Harvard University. So ni bukan sekolah tepi jalan that we can just dismiss his experiments. He claimed that he numerous times was able to contact people who have passed away. Now, this is his claim. Now, they are making this claim. What is our response? Can we just come and say merepek? That response is merepek. That's not how Muslims respond. We respond with knowledge, because this person, we have to respect his research. He has spent a lot of money. He actually created a lab in University of Arizona. He called it Veritas. He even named his project Veritas. He got funding from the university, and he claimed that this technology is coming soon. When I do my research, what does it mean that you can actually contact your deceased forefathers? So he actually claimed that he is able to bring these spirits into his lab. And when he interviewed these spirits are able to uncover facts about the deceased person that no one knows and can be verified. For example, I don't know anything about your great-great-great-grandmother, right? But I say, when I use the soul phone, I want to contact your great-great-grandmother. And suddenly, I know about your great-great-grandmother things that I should not know. For example, I know her favorite food. I know what she kept in her drawer. I know a treasure that she is keeping in Ulu Langat, for example, under this big tree. If you don't trust me, go and check. And it's there. For example, if I were to know it, you should ask the question, how do you know? Right? So Gary Schwartz have done hundreds of experimentation claiming to be able to talk to the spirits and able to uncover facts about people who have passed away, people who he have never met. And he claimed that if you want to refute me, you have to refute my data and my statistics. And I have witnesses, numerous witnesses, and I can actually replicate buat balik eksperimen tu kalau you nak, dia kata. And he claimed to call the spirits into his labs. Okay. Now, as Muslims, how do we understand this? What is going on? What is going on? He is actually one step close to truth when he claimed that when we die, our spirits do not die. That is one of his conclusions. Because in the West, many of them, or most of them, believe there's no such thing as life after death. But with this research, he said, I have established, okay, without a single doubt, there is such a thing as life after death. When we die, our spirits stays on. Itu dia betul. But when he say that these spirits who are in communication with us is the spirit of the deceased people, then we disagree. Because we know who are the spirits. Because Wahyu have told us who are the spirits. Who are the spirits? It is the qarin of the deceased person. Itu adalah jin qarin, orang yang telah meninggal dunia. Sudah tentu dia tahu pasal orang yang dah mati tu. Nampak Ni kajian yang dia orang tengah buat. Ni serious research ni, bukan research tepi jalan, bukan kedai kopi ni bercakap, tak. This is number one. So we have to take back. Where are our scientists? Why are we only busy about subatomic particles, atoms, molecules? Why are we not using science to bring this evidence for humankind to see? You know, one of the areas of research that is neglected, we should research on this area scientifically. Siapa yang berminat? The science of sorcery, sihir. What is the reality of sihir ni sebenarnya? Where are our researchers on this subject? I know because I deal with this field. I've read quite a number of books on sihir. But none of them do experiments. When I say do experiments, it doesn't mean you have to call the jinn. No. But at least you need to go and interview sorcerers, black magicians. Because when you are already able to establish there is such thing as sihr, and sihr is real, because people do not believe in it anymore. They say it's just folklore, mythology, nonsense. It's just Harry Potter nonsense, you see. But the moment you are able to prove with data and statistics, it can help people to become Muslim. Atheists can become religious. They say, oh, there is such thing as sihr. That means the battle between Moses and Pharaoh is real. Yes, of course, Moses is real and Pharaoh is real. Yes, of course, sihr is real. Where are our researchers on this subject? Oh, ni bukan cerita sains, Ustaz. Sihir, sains lain. Why? Why should you take this out from science? Why can't we bring sihr into the lab and study? One of my requests, if you know of any black magicians who have repented, tukang-tukang sihir yang sudah bertaubat, saya nak interview orang-orang ini. I want to know how they communicated with the jinn, how they make sihir, how they sakitkan orang, how they kasih cancer pada orang yang tak ada cancer. Don't you want to know this? Macam mana dia buat? Just by writing something on paper, some azimat, tangkal, muka jin, muka setan, and suddenly orang tu kena, bila x-ray ada paku dalam perut. Macam mana dia buat? Dia ada telepati ke? Teleportation ke? Jin ni ada teknologi apa sebenarnya? Macam mana dia boleh masukkan paku dalam perut kita? Aren't we not interested? Where are our researchers? We should ask questions. Knowledge come from questions first. Ni boleh kuatkan iman kita. It strengthens our belief system. Okay. And then do you know that there is this doctor, he's a cardiologist, heart surgeon, by the name of Dr. Pim van Lommel from Holland. His area of research, before this he was an atheist, he doesn't believe in God, he doesn't believe in spirits. Until one day he met his patient. This patient was declared clinically dead for 12 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. That means when we say clinical death, there is no signal, there is no there's no heartbeat and there is no brain function anymore. Clinical death is more to the brain, not to the heart. Okay, otak, brain death, that is real death, clinical death. So when someone is declared as dead, that means dah tak ada signal pada otak, tak ada signal pada jantung lagi. They believe when your brain shuts down, that means there is no such thing as seeing anymore. Correct? There is no such thing as hearing anymore. But the problem is, this patient, he claimed, you know, when I was in that state for you claim as 12 minutes, I heard what you say. And I was floating in the operation theatre. And I actually went to the next room and I actually hear what people in the next room are saying. Sorry? Yes. So this atheist doctor said, wait a minute, scientifically this is impossible. Can you repeat again what you heard? And she actually reported what she heard and it's accurate. So he was taken aback by this. He said, wait a minute, this is impossible. The mind, the eyes cannot function, the ear cannot function without the brain. If the brain shuts down, everything shuts down. Then he started to rethink. You know, yes, it is not synchronized anymore. Pergi kira, satu pergi kanan, satu pergi kiri, naik atas, turun bawah. You see, our normal eye is like this. Right? No, ni. How do you do that? Is there anyone who can do that? Artificially buat macam itu. Itu baru simple example je. People who can speak languages that they have never learned, how do you explain that? Psychology cannot explain this. Modern psychology cannot explain it. How can you have never learned Arabic, or you have never learned Siam, suddenly you speak Siam dengan grammar yang betul? Macam mana tu? Don't come to me and say, oh, tu subconscious. Mengarut betul subconscious. So subconscious you tahu semua benda lah. Bahaya tu dia kata subconscious mind yang boleh buat benda tu. No. It means there's something else. Another agent, okay, that is possessing the person's voice box. That is possessing the person's mind. Okay. And also there's this doctor by the name of Din Radin, you know. Dia punya area of research is in PSI. PSI ni apa? Supernormal ability. Supernormal ability such as The ability to read people's mind from far. The ability to move things from far. Impenetrability, kebal. Dia orang kaji benda ni dalam dalam lab tau. Kita orang Melayu kita ada ilmu ni juga, tapi kita malah nak kaji masalah tu. Kita ada orang silat yang kebal, yang boleh pegang minyak panas, betul. Yang ambil parang tetak kepala dia pun tak ada apa-apa. Boleh, we have people like that. Kan? Sedih orang yang masih tak percaya benda ni wujud. Benda ni ada, kan? It has been studied scientifically pun, but we refuse to believe because we have been swayed by the Western conception of science. Ada benda ni, verifiable, empirical data semua ada, observable data. If you do not believe me, you can go to YouTube. Okay? There's this strange Islamic movement called Tariqah Kasanzaniyah. If you want to do your research lah. This tariqah claim that they can drive a blade inside their head. So there's this American doctor who actually went to their ritual, wanted to verify whether what they claim is true. Dia ambil dagger, dia ambil hammer, dia ketuk. Dagger tu masuk ke kepala, stuck dekat tengkorak dia. So this American doctor actually went there and actually observed and touched the dagger and say, this is real. And he actually brought these people to America into his lab to make X-ray. And bila buat X-ray memang betul pisau tu memang masuk ke dalam kepala. Tapi relax je orang, macam tak rasa sakit apa. So they are interested to study about all these things. They say this can help sick people, this can help healing. Maybe there's an art to reduce pain. Our people have this knowledge, but why are we not studying it? But we know, because we know that the origin is the jinn world, jinn dan sihir. But what is the jinn and what is sihir? These are all areas of research that should not be put outside of the scope of science. Because our conception of science is not how they conceive science. Anything that is observable, anything that can be experimented, anything that can be proven empirically can be included under the umbrella of science. So this is my call. We cannot bring back Ghaib to our consciousness unless we modify and we edit our understanding of what science means. And we should go into these fields. We should be brave enough to go into these fields. So I would like to repeat my request again. Any of you here who knows any black magicians who have repented, please connect that person with me. Yang dah bertaubat especially. Yang belum bertaubat, kalau nak jumpa pun bagus jugalah. Tapi yang dah bertaubat lagi senang sikit. Dia nak buka cerita. Okay? Dia dulu tukang sihir macam-macam buat, pelaris lah, apa macam-macam tu, kebal lah. Yang dah bertaubat dah buang semua. Please connect that person with me, because saya tengah buat research ni, saya nak jumpa sebanyak-banyak tukang sihir yang ada, yang dah bertaubat. I want to understand their art. Macam mana dia orang buat benda tu? What are the technicalities yang dia orang kena lalui untuk dapat such kesaktian? In the end of the day, with knowledge, there's no such thing as kesaktian. When you know how it is done, you know that there is such thing as the science of sihr, the science of karama, the science of physical sciences, which we are too obsessed with. We should go beyond that. Okay? So insyaAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen our iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plant in our hearts enthusiasm to look into our faith with a different eye, with a different mind, with the power of logic, with the power of philosophy, with the power of the Quran and Sunnah especially, that guides our thinking, that guides our thought process. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam in these trying times, insyaAllah. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.